herb that's really good for the immune system, let's talk about barberry. 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 Now, what is barberry? Barberry is the cousin of golden seal. I call it the cousin of golden seal, even though it's not technically related, but they have a very important active ingredient there. There's an active ingredient in barberry. It's called berberine. You've probably seen it in capsules. You've seen it promoted. Berberine is really good for blood sugar. Berberine is really good for cholesterol. Things like that. Those are some of the benefits. Berberine acts as a natural antimicrobial. So it's almost like taking like a natural antibiotic, if you want to say that. Berberine. So you can find it in capsules right now. But barberry is naturally rich in berberine. Barberry is, I call it the cousin of golden seal because golden seal has a high amount of berberine. Barberry has a lower amount. It's not as much, but it still has berberine in there. Barberry is really good as a blood cleanser. Okay, so this is an herb that's really, really good for cleaning the blood. It helps fight off fevers. So we're in that season now. You know, people getting sick, people getting fevers, people getting cold. Barberry is really good for fevers. Barberry helps with infections. That's right. Because what did we just say? Berberine acts as a natural antimicrobial, right? It acts like a natural antibacterial and a natural antifungal. So barberry is really good for infections. Barberry is excellent for a sore throat. So if you're waking up and you got a sore throat going on, barberry is really good for that. Barberry also helps with liver cleansing, viruses, and funguses. Okay? So this is a very good herb that helps fight off the what's going on in the season we're going into. We're in the fall season. Barberry, B-A-R-B-E-R-R-Y, is really good for this time of year. It's the cousin of golden seal. Barberry may cost you $2 or $3 an ounce. Okay? Golden seal will cost you about $20 an ounce. Okay? So if you cannot afford golden seal, go to barberry. And why is golden seal? I'm gonna give you a little thing. People ask me at the store all the time, why is golden seal so expensive? Golden seal is not really farmed that much. Golden seal, most of the golden seal that you get out here is wild crafted. Okay? It's wild crafted. It's a lack of it. They have over-harvested golden seal. It's been going on for years now. And since it's over-harvested, it's not as much golden seal in nature as it used to be. So it costs you more and more and more per ounce to get the same thing. So golden seal is truly a product of, supply and demand. There's not a lot of supply, and there's a huge demand for it. So barberry is the cousin of golden seal. So that's our number one herb. That's our, I would like to say, our inexpensive, our unsung heroes in the cold and flu season. Let's go with number 2. And listen, if I'm going on, y'all can stop me anytime if you want to add in something. Number 2, you probably never heard of this herb. Inexpensive herb. It's called Boneset. B-O-N-E-S-E-T. Boneset. Very, very popular Native American herb. Okay? Found in America, it's grown in America. It was very, very popular with the Native Indians. Boneset, one of the best for breaking fevers. They actually said the herb came from people who had what they call bone breaking fevers. So Boneset was to break those fevers. Okay, so Boneset breaks the worst types of fevers. So Boneset fevers, chills, cold. Okay, if you have a cold, if you're dealing with bronchitis, Boneset is excellent for bronchitis. Boneset is really good for mumps. I don't know too many people get the mumps anymore. Do you know anybody who get the mumps? I remember back in the day, I knew somebody who got the mumps, but that was back in the 80s. I don't know anybody who get the mumps anymore. Mumps and Boneset is also really good for sore throat. So that was number 2. Okay? The number 3 herb, the third herb that I like a lot for unappreciated herb is catnip. That's right, catnip. The stuff that make your cats go crazy. You know catnip actually make the cat get high? You know that? If you put catnip somewhere, the cat start jumping around and flipping and chewing on it, and they go crazy. It's like the cat is just got high. They go crazy on it. Catnip. Catnip is an excellent herb for colds, fever. It's really good for the flu. It deals with gas. So let's say if you're a person who eats a lot of food or who eats food and they develop gas and bloating, catnip is an excellent herb for drinking, for helping deal with bloating and gas. It's really good for chickenpox. So if a kid didn't get the vaccine and stuff like that and they get the chickenpox, catnip is excellent, and you can bathe them in yogurt. Oatmeal too. It helps with gastric disorders, so not just gas, bloating, indigestion, things like that. It's really good for dealing with blood pressure. Now, it's a mild herb for blood pressure, okay? It's not the best herb, but it helps with blood pressure, and it helps calm your nerves. If you have a problem with sleeping at night, drink a cup of catnip. Catnip relaxes you. It chills you out. It's not as flavorful as chamomile, but catnip is an excellent herb for helping you relax, calm down, and things like that. So catnip is number 3, our unsung heroes in herbs. Any questions so far? Are we good? Talk to me.
I have a question, Abdul.
Talk to me.
My question with the catnip, so does it do the same effect on humans as it does with cats?
Nope.
Does it go bonkers and then knock us out?
Nope. No, the funny thing is that catnip makes them real active and energetic and high, almost like. Catnip for us calms us down. It relaxes us. Catnip also helps you expel mucus. So what it does to cats, it does not have the same effect to humans.
Okay, good.
Okay. Another thing catnip is really good for too. Catnip is one of the few herbs you can actually give to babies, like really young. You're talking about like 2 months, 1 month old. Catnip is one of the few herbs that is safe enough for infants. Okay. So most herbs are a little too strong. That's why they say it's better to get if you have a baby and you're lactating, it's better for you to drink the herb, the nutrient, and go through the milk to the body breaks it down, makes it safe for the baby. Catnip is one of the few herbs that an infant can even drink. They can give to an infant. Catnip and chamomile, very safe herbs for infants, okay? So, number 4, you've probably heard of this. In Spanish, they say une de gato. It's a Brazilian herb called cat's claw. Now, cat's claw is an excellent herb. I like cat's claw because of the simple fact that it's really good for boosting the immune system. The other 3 herbs I just talked about is more for fighting, So the cat's claw actually raises and strengthens the immune system. Catnip is not necessarily an immune booster, but if you are sick, it helps your body fight. Same thing with Boneset. You don't drink Boneset just to drink Boneset. You drink Boneset when you have a fever or if you have congestion and things like that. You don't just drink all the time Barberry just to be drinking it. You drink those when you have a specific issue. Cat's claw can be drinking daily for immune boosting effects. Okay? So cat's claw is really good for that. Cat's claw is also excellent for arthritis. So somebody who deals with joint pains, stiffness, all those things like that, cat's claw is excellent for dealing with that, okay? If you really want to even take it up a notch when it comes down to the inflammation and the pain, you do cat's claw and you mix it with devil's claw. This is off the immune system thing. But if you're dealing with pain and you have 2 herbs you want to use to mix together that works really well together, you have cat's claw that come from Brazil, and you have African herb called devil's claw. That's really good for dealing with inflammation and pain. If you are dealing with joints, your knees hurt, your hips hurt, you drink that twice a day, you'll start noticing relief, okay? Cat's claw is also really, really good for fighting off viruses. Okay, it's an excellent antiviral herb. Cat's claw is really good for cancer. So cat's claw is an excellent preventative of certain types of cancer. Okay, so people who deal with chemo and radiation, cat's claw is a really good herb for them to drink. Doing that, as long as they consult with their doctor. I'm not telling you to do that. If you are under the doctor's care, you can do it if you want to, but it's up to you. IBS, cat's claw is really good for IBS. Okay, that stands for irritable bowel syndrome. That's an immunological issue, inflammation. And we just said cat's claw is really good for dealing with inflammation of the joints. Well, cat's claw also helps protect the intestinal tract and reduces inflammation in the gut. So it helps with IBS. It's extremely good for dealing with allergies. So people who deal, like this is, even though it's cold and flu season, it's still a little bit of allergy season too. We're getting allergy season at the same time. So sometimes people can mistake a cold or an allergen as a cold. But cat's claw does both. It helps fight off colds, and if it is an allergen, if you have allergies, cat's claw helps lower those histamine response. So cat's claw is really good for that. And we already talked about how good cat's claw is for arthritis and also for pain. So cat's claw, excellent excellent herb to drink. It's an unsung hero, even though it's sort of popular. It's not as popular as it used to be. It used to be very popular. It kind of fell off, but cat's claw is really good. And like I said, if you have joint issues, mix it with devil's claw, and you'll get really good results. Number 5, we're going to do colt's foot. Now, most people never heard of colt's foot. They're like, what the heck is colt's foot? It's actually a leaf. It's an herb called colt's foot. Okay, the colt's foot actually looks similar to a dandelion, but it's called colt's foot. Colt's foot is it used to be a very popular herb back in the day. Herbalist was one of the most popular herbs with herbalists. Colt's foot is really good for people who deal with asthma. Okay, we going in that season. Like I said, we're in cold and flu season. Most people around this time are starting to have bronchial issues. They're developing mucus and all them other things. Colt's foot is really good for asthma. Colt's foot is good for bronchitis. I got bronchitis. Remember that lady? I got bronchitis. Colt's foot is really good for bronchitis. Colt's foot is excellent for a cough. So if you have a cough, colt's foot is really good for that. If you have a lot of mucus, you're waking up and you're coughing up mucus, colt's foot thins out mucus. Colt's foot is for people who are getting whooping cough. Now, I know you can get a vaccination for whooping cough, right? You get immunized for whooping cough. But they're finding now that the actual virus or the bacteria that causes whooping cough is actually mutated enough, and the vaccine is not necessarily being as effective as it used to be. Even though it was effective for the last 50 to 60 years, they're finding is they're just starting to have a little problems with whooping cough again. So it's just something to be aware of. So colt's foot is really good for that. Colt's foot is excellent for pneumonia. People deal with pneumonia during this time of year. Also, colt's foot is really good for colds and emphysema. So if someone's been sitting down, they've been smoking all their life and they have weakened lung and they have lung disease, colt's foot is really good for that, for dealing with emphysema. You also have like herbs like eucalyptus and things like that that also helps. So you can add colt's foot and eucalyptus.